Many years ago, before memory hardened into history and before legends were divided from truth, the world entered an age of shadow and fire. This was not a time measured in years or ruled by empires, but an era shaped by survival itself. The earth was louder then, mountains groaned, oceans breathed, and ancient forces watched from beyond the edge of human understanding. Humanity believed it stood alone at the top of creation, unaware that older powers still listened, waited, and judged. The warning came too late. From the broken lands beyond the known world, the Orcs emerged. They were not a scattered tribe nor a wandering species, but a civilization forged entirely for war. Their cities were mobile fortresses, their culture built on conquest, and their numbers seemed endless. They advanced across continents like a living storm, crushing resistance beneath iron, fire, and brute strength. Wherever they marched, the land itself suffered. Rivers ran black, forests fell in days, and entire human settlements vanished without a trace. At first, humanity fought as it always had. Armies mobilized, borders were reinforced, and weapons filled the skies. Yet nothing prepared them for an enemy that felt no fear and respected no law of life. The Orcs adapted with terrifying speed, learning human tactics, capturing technology, and turning every defeat into fuel for the next assault. Victory after victory fed their momentum, and with each fallen city, the world grew quieter. As hope thinned, something changed beneath the surface of the planet. Deep within ancient jungles and far below the ocean floor, forces older than civilization stirred. The earth itself reacted, as if recognizing an imbalance too severe to ignore. Forgotten legends resurfaced in desperate war rooms and crumbling archives. Stories once dismissed as myth now carried a frightening possibility. The Titans were real. On Skull Island, wrapped in mist and untouched by time, King Kong sensed the invasion before it reached his shores. The jungle had always spoken to him through vibration and instinct. When distant explosions echoed across the sea and unfamiliar machines scarred the horizon, Kong understood that the balance of his world was breaking. Orc scouts arrived soon after, hacking paths through sacred forests and enslaving creatures that had lived freely for ages. The jungle screamed, and Kong answered. His roar rolled across the island like thunder, a declaration of defiance that shook the canopy itself. Kong did not fight for domination, he fought as a guardian, a living embodiment of protection. When the orc warbeasts charged, towering and armored, Kong met them with raw fury. Trees became weapons, stone became armor, and the jungle itself seemed to rise with him. Each battle left scars, but it also sent a message beyond the island. The world was no longer undefended. Far from Skull Island, beneath miles of crushing ocean pressure, another titan awakened. Godzilla had slept through the rise and fall of civilizations, through ice ages and extinctions. But the Orcs were different. Their expansion poisoned the seas, disrupted tectonic rhythms, and threatened the planetary balance Godzilla existed to enforce. When orc fleets crossed the oceans in massive armadas, the water around them began to boil. Godzilla rose in fire and steam, his presence warping the horizon itself. Ships vanished in blinding flashes of atomic energy, reduced to drifting debris before distress calls could be sent. The sea reclaimed what the Orcs tried to conquer, and word spread quickly through terrified survivors. Something ancient had returned, and it was not on their side. Humanity stood frozen between fear and awe. For generations, the Titans had been humanity's nightmare, symbols of annihilation beyond control. Yet now those same beings fought the enemy humanity could not defeat alone. Governments hesitated, generals argued, and scientists warned that interference could provoke disaster. But the alternative was extinction. Slowly, painfully, the world accepted a new truth. survival meant coexistence. Military strategy changed overnight. Instead of targeting the Titans, human forces began to move around them, studying patterns, anticipating movement, and adapting formations to support rather than obstruct. Aircraft guided Kong toward major Orc strongholds, drawing enemy fire away from human cities. Naval fleets coordinated evacuations in regions where Godzilla advanced, turning chaos into controlled retreat. It was not communication in words, but in trust earned through shared struggle. The Orcs responded with brutality. They forged massive anti-Titan weapons, siege engines taller than skyscrapers, powered by dark energy ripped from conquered lands. Entire landscapes were reshaped into killing fields designed to trap and wound beings of colossal size. The war escalated beyond anything recorded in human memory. The sky burned, the ground fractured, and night glowed with constant fire. The turning point came when the Orcs launched their greatest offensive, and unified hordes spanning continents advanced toward the last remaining centers of human civilization. Their war drums echoed for days, a sound so deep it vibrated through bone. This was not an invasion meant to conquer, but to erase. Humanity's remaining forces prepared for a final stand, knowing retreat was no longer possible. Kong arrived first, emerging from smoke and flame like a living mountain. His presence ignited something humanity had nearly lost: belief. Soldiers watched as he advanced without hesitation, absorbing blows that would have annihilated entire battalions. With each strike, he shattered Orc engines and scattered formations, creating openings where human forces surged forward. The battle became a dance of survival, chaos transformed into momentum. Then the sea split open. Godzilla's arrival changed the very shape of the battlefield. Waves taller than cities crashed inland as his massive form advanced, dorsal plates glowing like ancient runes. His roar silenced the war for a single heartbeat, long enough for every creature to understand what stood before them. Atomic fire tore through Orc ranks, carving burning paths across the land. The ground trembled beneath each step he took, rewriting the battlefield in real time. For the first time in recorded existence, Kong and Godzilla stood together. There was no rivalry, no challenge, only purpose. Kong dominated the land, Godzilla ruled the sea and sky, and between them, humanity fought with renewed fury. This was not domination, it was alignment, a moment when the planet itself chose survival over destruction. The final battle stretched on without mercy. Days blurred together as exhaustion, fear, and determination collided. Orc warlords fell beneath Titan blows, their command structures collapsing into chaos. Human forces pushed forward, reclaiming ground inch by inch, knowing that every second mattered. When the last Orc stronghold finally crumbled, it did so not with a scream, but with silence. The war ended not with celebration, but with breathless stillness. Cities lay in ruins, landscapes were forever altered, and the cost of survival was etched into every survivor's memory. Kong retreated to his island, wounded but unbroken, watching from the shadows as the jungle slowly healed. Godzilla returned to the depths, his duty fulfilled, leaving behind a world forever changed by his presence. Humanity rebuilt differently this time, not with arrogance, but with awareness. The Titans were no longer myths or enemies, they were part of Earth's balance, forces that would rise again if that balance was threatened. The war against the Orcs became legend, not because it was unbelievable, but because it revealed a truth too vast to ignore. Even now, echoes of that age remain. In the deepest oceans, in untouched jungles, and in the quiet fear that follows every seismic tremor, the memory lives on. A reminder that when extinction looms, survival is not found in power alone, but in unity across worlds. This is the story of the war that reshaped Earth. This is the age when Titans stood with humanity.